But I'm not going to give you an account of conference proceedings. All will be prepared. Something like 30 reporters and some another 5 principal reporters are on the job. So they will be doing, and then a team will collate. But it has been a huge conference. Close to 500 persons attended. Some attended for 2 days, from 3 days. As I said, this is 4th day. We started with pre-conference, measurement of human development, then South-South cooperation, a panel organized by RIS, United Nations, and ISD. And there were 6 plenary sessions. Last plenary session, we got delayed because we started at 9 o'clock. Starting at 9 o'clock in Delhi in the winter. So it delayed by 10 minutes only, not more. But even then discussions went on. There were interest in the sessions. So 6 plenary, thematic sessions, thematic panels, which we say 30, technical sessions 25, and of course other participants. But I will say, Professor Ramesh, it was not only an academic and policy conference, but also a celebration of ISD of 25 years, celebration of RIS of 40 years, and also celebration of the idea of human development. And that had prompted us to organize this conference so that we provide a place for debate to all shades of opinions and debate the issues. So a remarkable feature of the conference was that people from many countries, maybe 60 countries, I have not counted, and more than 150 from outside India came altogether. As I said, many people are in the outside this auditorium. So this is really in that sense, a remarkable achievement. Of course, I should be criticized, and Dr. Sachin Chaturvedi should also be criticized for making the program overcrowded. Next time, I at least promise you, when Dr. Chaturvedi and I organize jointly, we will try to make it not so crowded. I will see. So I'm not going to give any long speech. I will thank Dr. Ramesh Chand for coming here on a short notice. He is a friend of ISD, Indian Society of Labour Economics, which established ISD, and of course friend of RIS and Dr. Sachin Chaturvedi. So he accepted our invitation. As I had said in the inaugural session, there were several versions of the program, people appearing, disappearing, used to happen. And Dr. Ramesh Chand was also in Gujarat. He came back and he accepted. So really, Dr. Ramesh Chand almost we covered. I won't claim all aspects of human development. And human development, you can, in common language, say human well-being, human progress, global prosperity, whatever term. Human development is a broad term. We discussed measurement issues. We discussed gender equality, education, health, inequality, climate change, maybe 4 or 5 sessions. Persons from north, one feature of that was several persons, although this conference was called Advancing Human Development in Global South, and we believe that dialogue among South is important, but also dialogue should be also between North and South. We cannot exclude North, their experiences. many of the, and like climate change, it was discussed climate finance issues, that they have to finance it, they have the responsibility to. So there has to be dialogue. So this was an important feature. So all this, we started with after inaugural, we started with growth and human development linkages panel. You can think of Kaushik Basu chairing it, Meghna Desai, then who else? I said, I'm forgetting. Meghna Desai, then very high profile, Sabina Alcaer, Pedro, Director of Human Development Office, then Chief Economist of Human Development in charge, Norbert Sodi of World Bank. Just before this session, another high-profile session, Future of Human Development. In between several plenary sessions, so I apologize for making it again tiring. And after this session valedictory, you have to listen to another lecture, ISD Silver Jubilee lecture by Thomas Pogge, one of the world's renowned philosophers and political scientists. That won't be boring, I guarantee you. And after that, there will be a reception, no work. So after that, everybody can leave. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sharma. I now invite Dr. Sachin Chaturvedi, Director General, Research and Information System for Developing Countries, New Delhi, to please address the gathering.
Thank you. Thanks, Priyanka. Thanks, Alak Sharma ji, for IHD-RIS partnership to not only celebrate our institutions' respective anniversaries, as Professor Deepak Nayyar said in the inaugural session, these anniversaries remind us of our mandate, of our commitment, and also the way we can innovate. And I think this conference was quite startling in terms of how we combined various not only research approaches but also conceptual ideas. And I think idea of RIS is very much embedded in the wider concept of Global South. In fact, RIS born out of the non-aligned movement commitment of India, and with Professor Shukma Chakravarti and others at RIS, the new international economic order was something with which we were committed with, and the idea of South-South cooperation came in. RIS went on that trajectory, and in last 25 years, IHD has evolved the concept of human development. This conference in last 4 days, I think in my understanding, has combined the two. And has combined the two at various levels in terms of how we look at the issues that are related to the wider narrative of human development, taking it beyond the concepts where just in the previous panel that was chaired by Professor Nayyar, the idea of we focusing on macro goals influencing employment and employment-related issues, along with the nature of technology that is coming in, trying to bring in economy, employment, and environment together, trying to bring in issues which are important at the community level, trying to bring in culture and capability. Sita Prabhu in our session on life brought out some of these dimensions with Pami Dua on how we bring in some of these dimensions in our economic development paradigm, when Thomas Pogge in our session emphasized on moral compass, how moral compass is important in terms of our broad macroeconomic frameworks, but also in the financial decisions and issues that we are bringing in. Today morning at the sectoral level, I was in health and then in agriculture. Both the sessions brought out issues which are not only forward-looking, like for instance, Brazil's G20 presidency, what issues we can take there, but also at the sectoral level, what kind of a structural transformation and transition that we are looking at are required. And they are needed in terms of our new approach on human development in the wider setting that is needed. And that's where I think, as Francisco mentioned, we need to bring in from quantitative to qualitative take on human development. We also discussed issues of we moving forward from GDP-centric view to more well-being focused. And one of the questions from the floor in the previous session was about the idea of well-being, how we look at the measurement, how we see this going beyond happiness index, but bringing in oneness with nature, oneness with biodiversity conservation, but also addressing the economic growth priorities that are going on at this point, where transition is required. The G20 presidency, which we discussed in context of Global South on the first day itself, where Ambassador Shamsaran emphasized in terms of we bringing forward ideas which are taking the wider Global South together and not just few selected countries. And they, I think, issues are important in terms of how we combine the accumulated knowledge on understanding of human development, but also we take that forward in terms of trade, investment, technology, and finance. And all the four verticals are important where RIS is working in. We could bring in 2 sessions on value chains. As yesterday evening we discussed, 72% of the global trade now is in parts and components. And this was explained very well by our panel, which captured the details in terms of how issues are to be understood in terms of national capability. And if you recall, one point that everybody emphasized in was capability to handle it. And this, I think, is important in terms of how we focus on as I was mentioning, not only on localization of development where culture is important, but also local capability, where countries have to prepare for the new phase of understanding. We also had discussions in terms of how issues are important in terms of inequality and nature of inequality, the importance of investing in early stages of human life, I think, are important. We had this excellent talk on day 2 in terms of how children at different contextual settings have different levels of physical development. And that, I think, requires a much more concerted effort in the Global South to see that these gaps are minimized. Now, if that has to be done, the transition that is required is important. What we are seeing at the global level now, the total debt, if you see, of the global community, which we discussed in our session on life, is in terms of something like $5 trillion. And these $5 trillion is accumulated debt from multilateral institutions with the Global South, LDCs as well as developing countries. And every year, if they just pay rate of whatever interest they have to pay, 6 to 10% of their export revenue goes out in that. And same if you see, if principal payment to the debt is included, it goes somewhere from 15 to 25%. So that kind of burden on Global South requires their transition, their adoption of new technologies, for which human resources are important. So I think IHD and RIS effort that way. I see this conference as great institutional convergence, great convergence of streams. And I'm delighted that Professor Deepak Nayyar, who was part of RIS Governing Council, now chairing IHD, could facilitate the sessions, the priorities, and also in terms of relative strength of the two institutions to come together. So I thank all of you for your participation, for your contribution, and I thank Priyanka this heavy lifting that she has done. A big hand for her. I think it's a great work she has done in terms of bringing all of us together and also contributing in the logistical burden that is there. We are all here to get some insights from Professor Ramesh Chand. So I would now very much like to invite him. Thank you.
So. Blessings.
Thank you, Sachin ji. I would like to thank Alak and Sachin for providing this opportunity to me to meet peers, to meet my contemporary mentors, mentee, and great researchers who have contributed in this 4-day conference. I'm really impressed that this is fourth day and still there is no visible sign of fatigue which would have set by this time. I think credit goes to the interest created by different speakers and organizing ability of Alak and Sachin to keep the flock together, even though it is a fourth day. I think I should start by congratulating RIS and IHD for their glorious journey toward excellence. RIS completing 40 years and IHD completing 25 years. And during these years, these two institutions have become stronger and stronger. And I have no hesitation in admitting that today they are filling some of the gap in academic research and activities which has happened because of